Um, and turn that part off. All right, we are officially live on the 108th. Okay, it's really the 8th, but I like the 100 number in front of it. 8th video roundtable here at From Dust Till Con Network. We've got a bevy of stars with us this evening, a few new faces. Of course, we all know Exler from last week. He was our star of the show. Quick note in the chat, if you're here in double, go ahead and click your Mixler. Go ahead and put the mute on that because we're broadcasting it double so that the fans without a web page and whatnot can hear it too. So if you're hearing the echo, go ahead and push pause on Mixler. So back to where I was. We've got Michael Exler with us. We've also got a couple new faces that you may or may not know of. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves, gentlemen?
Oh, hello, this is David Manifesto, and I do Sadistic Cinema. Have been doing it on Sunday nights, but now I have the great opportunity to start doing it Wednesday nights, taking over the 10 p.m. Time slot from Traumatic Cinematic, and you guys also might know me as the co-host from Traumatic Cinematic as well, but former. but I'm very happy the opportunity to get a nice primetime slot. I have been going on before the roundtable here, which going up against Game of Thrones is quite difficult, but I'm glad to be taking over this new slot.
All right, that's of course we got that one, and our other new guest.
How's it going, everybody? This is Nathan Hamilton. You might know me from the Son of Celluloid blog or possibly the Son of Celluloid YouTube show. And I'm going to be having some kind of a project coming up on the From Dust Till Con network starting next month. Can't really tell you the details quite yet. I'm excited to be a part of it.
And we're excited to have it. I don't know if anybody's ever checked his show out. Definitely go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and drop a link in there in a minute. Do you have your chat up by chance, Nathan? Are you on the web
right now?
Why don't you go ahead and drop a link into the chat room so some of our friendly fans can definitely check out your show. It's probably the most interesting 15 minutes you'll catch on YouTube. I mean, besides our show here, because this is the best thing ever. So, yeah, it's my story. I'm sticking to it. So we've got a lot of stuff that's been going on in the last week. There's been a lot of he said, she said, we said, and they all said crap going on. Just to put an end to it, I'm going to go ahead and give a brief rundown of why there's some changes in the From Dust Till Con network. We did lose a member of the network by his own accord. He decided it was in his best interest to go off into his own realm. The reason he decided to go off into his own realm is creative differences. Pause your Mixler there, Nathan. I can hear myself echoing, and I really don't want to hear my voice. As much as I love to talk, don't want to hear my voice. I'm not like somebody else. There was some creative differences. Long story short, without getting too much into details because it's pointless and it's a time waster. There was a creative difference. There was discrepancy that came about. There was a lie told. The lie was busted, and the person could not come up as a man to admit that he lied and admit that he was wrong. And finally, after a couple days of him avoiding the question, etc., and he could tell how pissed we were getting, he decided that it would be best for him to go. So, best wishes to you. Sorry about your luck. You lost out. So, he did say a few things that were not true, so we did set the record straight on a few people, and that's why we now have Dave with us. He was very happy to be offered the time slot, and I think it's definitely a better position for him to be in. I don't know if anybody caught his show on Sundays. It was actually right before this one normally. But with it being in a better time slot, it's definitely going to get more play, and it's a really good quality show. If you've heard any of the one other show, you know that he was the talent of that show. So when all this came down, he was one of the few people we were kind of bummed about losing. Then once we worked everything out, we decided it'd be in all of our best interest for him to come back. So welcome back, sir.
Well, thank you. And just to tell you, I did say a couple things because I was wrapped into the lies, and I did say I would do publicly to apologize to you and Adolfo for saying a couple things on Facebook here and there, but we all got past that, and I did see that somehow I got pulled into beef and believed one side, and one side wasn't true. So I guess it happens to the best of us. But after I saw how everything actually worked out, I saw that From Dusk Till Con would be the best fit for me. So I'm glad to be here.
Well, good. I'm glad, and we're definitely glad to have you. You put on a quality show. You're a stand-up guy, and once everything was settled, everything was good. So, and that's good, and that's the kind of communication you need with friends, business partners, DJ, whatever. We're all in this together, and this is all really about having fun. With the problems that were going on with the network before, it started not at being fun. So, and now it's back to being fun. That's the best part. So,
this isn't a job, man. This is us having fun, blowing off steam. We all have day jobs. We got to deal with that bullshit. We got family that is great, or could be issues, and you take a couple hours out of your week just to blow off some steam. So that's really how we have to do this. Just have fun with it.
And it's doing something we all love. We all love horror. We all whatever show we're doing, that's something we all love. Just like me, I love my cover songs. I also love the horror, and I love bullshit, and so I get this channel. So, anyways, why don't you tell us a little bit about your show, what you're going to be doing with it, for those who haven't seen anything about it.
Well, Sadistic Cinema, we were a bi-weekly show. We focused on the darkest, extremist shit that you can find in cinema. So we did a show on Serbian film, of course. We touched on Old Boy, and a few other films. We had probably 4 or 5 episodes out there. So going weekly, we're going to expand it a little more. We're still going to say dark and independent, but we like the movies that your mom will never fucking watch. That, if you actually went to work and you handed this off to a coworker, they'd probably report you, So
yeah, we're gonna have to talk to HR.
Yeah, we sit there and laugh at a Serbian film. Most normal people can't watch that film. So, and of course, we're going to try to bring on guests. I don't know if any of you guys ever seen Where the Dead Go to Die. We did an episode on that. It had Jimmy Screamer Claus, who created that film. So, we look for people like Fred Vogel, who is a great friend of Days of the Dead, who I've interviewed before. But that's the type of caliber of guest and type of movies that we go for.
Good. Actually, let me interject one thing right here. You did mention Where the Dead Go to Die. Me and Jason are actually currently working to bring Where the Dead Go to Die to a screening here on the From Dusk Till Con network, which we're hoping is going to happen Friday. So,
fucking awesome!
Have a chance to check it out.
Jimmy's a fucking awesome dude too, man. So I'm glad.
Including, I've also got my hands on the 5-minute preview for his new flick.
Awesome.
That'll be nice. Real nice.
So, yeah.
And for those that don't know, and most people do, just so I give the quick plug of the network, we do movies on Friday. This Friday we didn't. Unfortunately, Hoover got tied up in one of his new features, so we didn't do one this week. So, on that same aspect, Mike, you've also got a buddy of yours coming to the network. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what his show is? You're actually going to be producing it, so you know the most of what's going on, I guess. And unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight. He had a family to take care of, so our family deal to do. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about his show that's going to be coming?
Yeah, sure. His name is Wayne Massey. He grew up in New York City on 42nd Street. He actually grew up in South Bronx. Spent a lot of time on 42nd Street. The show is called 35mm Big Box Rewind. It's a recorded show. It'll be playing 9 p.m. on Wednesday, right before Dave's show. Basically, what we recorded the first 2 shows, and the first one's just really about his background, growing up in New York, doing the 42nd Street thing, sort of talk about getting into the VHS era. Also, he talked in great length about a film, The Black Gestapo. So he's really into everything and anything grindhouse, if you will. I mean, grindhouse really isn't a genre of film, but more of the exploitation, blaxploitation, sexploitation.
Ozploitation. I've been getting into a lot of the Oz stuff from Australia. That stuff's hilarious.
It's funny. I think you can put anything in front of exploitation, and
it's like Palooza. It's a Billapalooza.
Right. But all the 3.5 years I've been doing this, and all the shows that I have under my belt, these are 2 shows that I'm really, really proud of. There's a lot of social commentary in these. Wayne is an African American, so he brings a complete different perspective, you know, to a lot of things that we wouldn't even think about, and it all ties together into horror. So I really give these shows a shot, and I think you're really going to dig it because there's a lot of information that this guy has, and he's very well spoken and passionate about it.
Good. I'm looking forward to hearing it myself. I actually have the show. I will probably give it a listen before everybody because I can do that. So, you know, and honestly, I never do that. I normally don't listen to shows beforehand. Half the time, I don't even listen to them when they're on there. No, I'm just kidding. I do. But yeah, from what it sounds like, the guy sounds really interesting. You told me a story. Actually, both you and Adolfo told me a story. You probably told Adolfo, and then Adolfo told me the same story. The Superman 3D story. You want to tell that story real quick?
Yeah, it was actually Friday the 13th.
Friday. I'm sorry. Yeah, Friday.
Friday the 13th, part 3. He went to live in South Carolina for a while with his dad, and this theater. He expands on this in the one episode that you'll hear, not the debut, but the one after. But you know, being that part 3 came out early '80s, early to mid '80s. That segregation was still happening in South Carolina. So basically the story goes, him and his buddies, that was like 6 or 7 other African Americans, went to this movie theater to see it in 3D. And the clerk said that they didn't have any more 3D glasses. And they were like, come on, man, how are we going to watch a 3D movie without 3D glasses? So push comes to shove, they're like, whatever, we bought the tickets, let's just go in. So they get their seats, they're ready for the movie to start, so, you know, other people are trickling into the theater and they have 3D glasses. So they go back out and say, you know, we see these people have 3D glasses, and they refuse to give them the glasses. So, you know, that's some shit that you might expect to hear in like 1950, but the fact that this was still going on in the early 80s, and who knows, it might still be going on in some places in America now, and
it is. I live in South Carolina. It's still fucked up.
Were you at that theater? You were probably there. You probably got his glasses.
I was the one handing out the glasses.
Or at least one that got a pair. I got my glasses. What you got now? So.
But it's just, you know, I'm a white kid from the suburbs of Pittsburgh, so that's something that I would never think of or would ever have to deal with. And, I mean, he's got a lot of stories like that. So, I mean, the film knowledge that he has, and he'll be given film recommendations for people to check films out. Most of them are on YouTube. You know, things that I know I've probably never heard of. Hopefully other people have never heard of, and they can expand their film repertoire. But it's a pretty serious show. I mean, we have fun, but, you know, the topics are kind of deep, so it's pretty cool.
Now, what's his usual? I mean, Grindhouse obviously isn't, like we said, or like you said, a genre of film. But what's his like repertoire? What's his favorite? I mean, do you know what he really gets into a lot? What he's going to be talking about?
He's going to be talking about the whole gambit of exploitation.
Okay.
From blaxploitation, sexploitation, you know, porno films on 42nd Street. You know, a lot of the grindhouses just showed those. You know, horror films, some spaghetti westerns, but he tells a story about, you know, when he was 14, he would watch Wild World of Disney, and there were no black people on that show, so his dad would take him to 42nd Street, and they would see blaxploitation films, so he was able to see himself represented on the big screen. So again, it's just all those types of stories, and again, it's really cool. It's just another. Yeah, I think it brings something completely different to the network that we don't have.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds like a completely different view. You know, obviously none of us know what it's like growing up to be a black kid. Right. You know, and especially that, and not to be racist or stereotypical or anything, you don't see a lot of black people who are really into horror. You know, it's you know, I've got a few friends that are, you know, black and into horror, but it's really a rare thing, you know. You don't.
But when they are heads. I mean, they are on their fucking game. All the black dudes I know that, you know, the 3 Black Geeks. If you know those guys, have been podcasting for a while. They're on their shit.
Yeah. And not that there's anything wrong with that.
And I also want to, I forgot to mention, Seth Brundle is on my show as well. He writes for Fangoria. Him and Adolfo go back. He used to write for FDTC back in the day. And my new co-host is Stephen Nemeth. He's been on a few shows with us. He is an independent director, works on some shorts. This guy is a fucking savant. I could sit there, talk about spaghetti westerns, German scat films, Taiwanese child porn. He could tell you, who was the stunt cock for Peter North when he took some medication and had erection problems. So, it's gonna be an interesting.
Stunt cock. All right, we've left poor Nate now. He's been sitting there, sipping on his little bottle there and toking away.
Well, he doesn't have pants on right now, though.
Maybe, maybe not. We don't want to know.
I actually do tonight, and this is probably the first video chat I've ever done with pants. So,
slow clap.
But yeah, if you watch my YouTube show, if you see me from the waist up, the vast majority of the time I'm swinging in the breeze.
Fair enough.
I thought this was fucking Chachu bait, man.
Yeah, right? Tell me your boobies. Well, I normally wear pajamas on the show. This, unfortunately, tonight I'm wearing shorts because I was still running around. I was like, I had gotten back late from visiting my mother, and so yeah, I'm a mama's boy. I visit my mother every other weekend, and she lives 3 hours or an hour, about 3 hours away. So I drive 3 hours to see her, get dinner, and then kind of come back the next day. So.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
What are you going to do? I'm a 43-year-old Italian Catholic. If I don't go see her, I get yelled at. Where are you? So.
She's actually decaying in the rocker upstairs. So.
I'm in a trailer. I don't have upstairs. I have a crawl space. So,
even better.
Yeah, exactly. God, that was a horrible movie. But Nathan's going to be bringing some stuff in. We haven't exactly set what we're going to be doing with him. We've got a couple things we are working on with him. But if you definitely need to go check out his YouTube shows. Did you drop that link in the chat yet?
No, actually, I closed it because you were hearing yourself. So
oh, okay.
I'll do that in a minute.
Yeah,
or just go to YouTube, type in Son of Celluloid. My episodes will come up. Some of the interviews I've done at Past Days of the Deads will come up. Some of my, just little weird-ass videos will come up. So just type in Son of Celluloid and everything will be there.
I'm pulling up the links here now. Why don't you tell me, while I'm doing that, why don't you tell them actually some of the stuff you do on Son of the Celluloid? So,
some of the stuff I do.
We don't want them to leave while the show's going, so this is going to be for them to look at later.
Yeah, check it out as soon as we're done here. Wow, who's that in the background? That's creepy.
My wife walking by.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, normally my cat's around here too, so. Of
course, every episode, the main thrust of it is I do an independent horror spotlight. What I, all about on the blog, on the show, whatever, is bringing, putting the spotlight on movies that might have flown under some people's radar. I've got my friend Joe's sweet old mother doing some really heinous horror quotes that you would never expect a old lady to say. I do. I keep an Atlanta horror events calendar because all of my friends around here are like, God, I would have gone to that if I'd known about it. So I make sure to do one of those and spotlight a different independent horror band every episode when I do that. I've got interview clips I've done at various Days of the Dead things. I just throw everything I possibly can in there. So it's just me with my limited technical knowledge and some help from friends and a passion for horror trying to put it all out there, man.
And that's what brings us all together. We're very passionate about what we do. We're not in this to, make money. I mean, if we made money, it'd be definitely great. But this is one thing.
I'm not getting paid for this?
Oh yeah. You didn't get that contract yet, did you?
Damn it.
Okay, that's really why the other team left, but now we won't.
Right.
I'm excited about the show, Nathan. Nathan has been on, I'm not going to mention any names, but a past show that I was a co-host on. We had a lot of fun, as well as we did a lot of hanging out in Atlanta. So, just from his perspective, it's going to be an interesting show. I know it's going to be a hit.
I'm actually, before now, I haven't had my own podcast, so I'm kind of a professional guest star at the moment. You can find me on, I'm Sonny Bono in the early 80s. You can find me on the Picking Brains podcast. Sometimes I'm on the Bastards of the Universe podcast. I've been on your I've been on a bunch of different shows. Time to strike out on my own and see what I can do.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, when we had actually been talking about bringing you on before everything changed. We were just still working on stuff, and then when everything,
it's about
That
damn
fucking
time.
that fucking talent manager was fucking slack. We should have had you on already.
yeah, no shit, talent manager. Yeah,
Yeah, I
you're
don't even know
managing a
what the
bunch of
idea is.
fuck ups who sit around and talk horror all the time. Yeah,
I didn't even
Takes a
know we
lot
had
of
a talent manager. I didn't miss that
Neither did I.
memo.
Tell you one of the ideas I want to bring to this thing, no matter what I actually end up doing, I want to start. You hear a lot of celebrity interviews. You hear a lot of interviews with the people who get press. I want to start interviewing some of the smaller people, the bloggers and podcasters and distributors and people who run events and people who run haunted houses and ghost tour managers and that kind of stuff. The people who don't really get all the press. Are really the backbone of the horror business. That's one thing I really want to bring to the table is kind of, go to the little guy and get his perspective on everything.
Well, I bet Sean Clark could give you an interview.
Yeah, probably. Bill, you'll be interested in this. I'm actually trying to get the beautiful and talented Anya on the first episode.
Nice.
You know Anya, right?
Yeah.
Anya Chin, biatch.
Exactly.
Anyway.
I was waiting for it. I figured
I had
I'd
to
give it
get
to
you
you. I figured I'd give you one. I'm waiting. Like,
Yeah, you got to
okay.
give me one.
Yeah, exactly. So
You tried to get me with Lemmy the other day, but I caught it.
yeah, that was I busted it out too fast. You just get So we've got we really need to make a Facebook page just for those jokes. But then we'd give away all of our secrets. So.
Yeah.
And
That's why I'm bummed D. Snyder had to pull out of India. I was totally going to get a picture of him holding a jar of nuts.
That's
And
yeah.
spread it around. It would have been beautiful, but
I was at work the other day, and Adolfo he was out shopping, just out of the blue sends me a picture of him pointing at a fucking can of nuts. I'm like, that's like the circle joke. You got me. So
there's always Dee Wallace one day.
yeah, we should have done her. Yeah, she was in Atlanta, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't even fucking remember. I was so busy.
I'm
That's
so drunk. I don't know.
yeah. Between it was like okay, work, drink, drink, work, drink. Yeah, and then it's like
I'll drink to that.
Well, exactly. And it's like my post on Friday is, or this morning actually, I was like, in 3 weeks from today, I'll be nursing the first of many hangovers. And it's like, okay, gotta go back to work. So
It's that time when you get to Sunday morning and you can't decide if you're hungover from Saturday night or still drunk from Thursday.
Yep. Yep. And I've already took Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I probably will take Monday off too. And the funny thing is actually this job wanted me to start. I'm a computer contractor, so my work comes and goes. And they wanted me to start the week before, or the week that Atlanta was going to start. So they wanted me to start Monday. I'm like, well, you can go ahead and have me start, but I'm leaving town on Wednesday, so I only have 2 days. They're like, okay, well, that's fine. Why don't you go ahead and start Monday? Then I'm like, well, yeah, I'm going to be coming back from Atlanta, so I'm really not going to be worth anything. How about Wednesday? I should be okay by then. And it's funny because all my recruiters, they know my con schedule. I make sure they know, because it's like I've got the Right. This is my real gig. I only work, to pay the bills, but that's my real gig. If only that would pay like I could get it too, we'd all be happy. So, I'm
excited because this year at Indy's the first time I've been able to travel outside of Atlanta.
Yeah, you haven't been to an Indy show yet.
I'm looking forward to this. Nope, I've been to every Atlanta show, but I've never been to Indy or Chicago or LA. So
the Indy show is night and day. Let me rephrase that. It's not night and day. It's Atlanta.
Don't you be talking shit about Atlanta.
It's Atlanta. No, it's not. It's Atlanta times 10. It's going to be a lot busier. There's going to be a lot more going on. It's actually a little bit more spread out too. So you're not, there's, it's not like there's basically like 3 rooms kind of in Atlanta. This one's a little bit more spread out. There's 1, 2, 6 different rooms. And it is just the party central. I mean, there's just the debauchery definitely happens in Indy because it's where it started. That's where I got my start with it. I went to the first one as a, as a guest, or not a guest, but as a patron, and then just worked my way in from there. Now they can't get rid of me. So, but
I'm all about the debauchery. Let's do this.
Yeah, it's a blast. I mean, fucking people out back, right at the back door, just fucking token up and wait. If that's people do that, I don't know. I've heard that they do that. I've never seen it.
What?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know nothing. Fucking John Dugan's always fucking he damn near passed out last year, and right at the back door. I'm like, John. He's like, huh? And it takes a lot for John Dugan to get that drunk. So you can imagine how much shit goes on there. So
we're in Atlanta, one of my favorite moments. I was out back in the parking lot with Jason Hoover and Cameron Scott and Leah, my best friend and assistant. We may or may not have even been imbibing something illegal. And we look up, and there's this chick stripping for us in the window. It was beautiful. It's one of the greatest moments of any con
wait,
ever.
was that on the back?
Serendipity.
That may have been me.
Yes.
Oh,
okay. She looked a little less hairy. But
well, I did the tuck. Goodbye,
okay.
horses. And
that just makes that moment so much better.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's like, oh, that was awesome. So we lost Dave. He must have lost his connection. He must have one of those shitty talent manager style internet connections. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Indy. We're going to do some different things there this year, media-wise. One thing we're going to be doing is probably going to do a all-day podcast. Where we're live right here on From Dusk Till Con Network. All the different talents going to take turns. So one person doesn't have to sit there all day. And then switch off, probably play some music for a while. I'm going to bring my music collection. Which is more than covers. I do have more than cover songs, so I got about 70,000 songs as the last count. So we'll be playing different stuff on that. The other thing we're going to be doing, I touched base on last week, is going to be the live video feed, just like you're seeing right here with the Google Chat. You will actually, or not the Google Chat, but the Google Hangout, you will actually have a live video feed. I'm going to put that in the front hallway, probably kind of like where that piano or something is in there, with basically a sign saying, say hi to the folks at home. So there's going to be plenty of stuff to see on there. You're going to end up getting some chick going, boop. Let's just hope it isn't like this, so, her tits aren't, it's hanging at her belly button, So, yeah, it's like, what does an old woman have between her tits that a young woman doesn't? Her belly button. But, the good thing is actually, it'll be recorded, so take note. And then we will do a best of video. Eventually, I will get into it and edit it, and we'll do a best of video that'll be played here on From Dusk Till Con Network. Speaking
will
of,
include all tits.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Well, maybe not all of them.
Well,
yeah, there may be some that we don't want, like yours, or mine, or Mike's, or anybody's that's on this network right now. Excuse me. The other thing I'm going to be doing this week, actually, with the Son of Celluloid stuff that's coming out to the show, I'm actually going to be dropping a couple of the videos onto the webpage. So while people are going to be listening to our shows this week, they'll have a chance to view those. You should get a couple of hits out of that at least. Somebody will probably click it on accident, but
good deal.
Whichever works, So, yeah.
Which, by the way, episode 5 will be up on Tuesday. So,
okay.
Brand new episode this week.
Remind me on Tuesday when it's up. Is it going to be up during the day or in the evening? Do you know?
It'll be up during the day.
Okay, let me know, and I'll actually put it on the page before Harry's show starts. So we'll have it up there. That way, everybody can give at least get a sample of the debauchery that we're bringing to the From Dusk Till Con Network.
Excellent.
So, yeah, we're all about promotion. So, and if we can promote ourselves, it's even better. It's like giving ourselves hand jobs. We're great at it. Nobody does it better. So, where Dave? Well, Dave, I don't know where Dave went. He kind of got lost, I guess. Let me resend him the link just in case he forgot it. So, why don't you guys talk among yourselves? You're supposed to be podcasters. Say something interesting for the folks at home.
Well, I was just going to say, out of all the drama and everything that went down, I definitely think we're adding 3 shows that, maybe would not have happened if this didn't happen. And, I think out of a bad situation, I think this turned really good for the network and really good for all the listeners out there. I think they're going to be, these are kind of different shows with different angles that, I think everybody's really going to enjoy, and I'm excited to hear everybody's shows and see everybody's stuff, and and bring you, the 35mm show. So I just think it's, bad things happen sometimes, and you find out who people really are, but it's always, you always have something positive at the end of it. So
yeah, you hate to hear any kind of drama, any kind of rift in the horror community, because we are a community. It's bad when something goes bad, but like Sun Tzu said, out of chaos comes opportunity, and I got a chance to step into the network, so hey, it worked out good for me.
Yeah, and that's the one thing definitely that I'm really excited about is the fact that there's a lot more excitement coming into the fold. We've got definitely new stuff, and new is good, and definitely different stuff. We not saying any show was bad. Yeah, it was, but I didn't say that. Yeah, I did. It's like that conflict of interest in my head. No, you didn't. One's over here, over here. They're both going fuck you right now. I always one thing I wanted to bring into this network when we first started talking about it is different stuff. We did do a little bit of different stuff going on. Like with the music stuff, we had different shows. The talk shows kind of were okay. Where they all were kind of on the same level. Let me rephrase that before you guys start yelling at me and saying, what the fuck are you saying my show was on that level? They were kind of, in the same package of what the shows were about, somewhat. Definitely not identical, I'm not going to say that. But with these new shows coming in, it's definitely broadening the spectrum of what we're going to be doing, and that's what we needed to do, and that's one thing I wanted to do from day one is to have something for everyone. That's why we have so many different music shows. We've got Adolfo show, my show, Carrie's show, Harry's show, Harry, Cubs win. No, they don't. Yeah, I know, but gotta love them.
I may or may not have a music show coming.
Well, and that's one thing too. I was actually just getting on is we're also looking at adding another show there because we've got one slot open on Fridays. Fridays has been kind of a helter skelter. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and throw some shit up here, and it's like whatever we wanted to play. I did the '80s metal last week. Adolfo did some hip hop one week, and another guy did not cover bands, but soundtracks, which great subject. He totally blew it, but yeah, we won't go there either. Yeah, we will. But and that's definitely diversity is the way that goes in. So that's what's going to bring people to listen to the show, and then it brings you get people who like a certain thing. They're going to be like, okay, and they'll come to the show. Like people who like my cover show, and then they're going to go. And then move on to, Idle Chatter show that's on right after mine. Then they start listening to that. And it broadens everybody's horizons, and that's what we wanted to do. And have fun doing it. We're obviously not getting paid to do this. We're actually paying money to do this. So, you guys that are out there, we pay for you to listen to us. So you better fucking listen to us, damn it. Money doesn't grow on trees. So.
It's funny, I was never really into punk music at all. I never had an issue with it. I just never really got into it. But I work late on Mondays, so I've been checking out, what Adolfo has to offer, and Carrie even with the metal, and my music horizons are broadening, and I'm digging some of it. I don't like all of it, but hey, I'm being exposed to stuff that I would not have done if it wasn't for the network, and that's pretty cool if you ask me.
Absolutely. I grew up listening to punk music, a different style, and at an earlier age because I've got, about, I think, 10 years on Adolfo. But he introduces me to stuff, and the same with Carrie, listen to her stuff. It's like, wow, that's pretty fucking cool. And I'm not a big, that hard of a metal fan. I love metal, but that's a little bit hard for me. I'm old,
right.
No hair, But
nothing wrong with some metal.
No, there's nothing wrong at all. But it's just it's a new learning experience. So yeah, and like Larry says, he doesn't like anything. Well, we don't like you either, Larry. No, we do. Everybody loves Big Larry, so we got to say that. So
yeah, diversity's good. Like the two genres of music I most listen to are horror punk and '70s soul. So you can't really get much more, wider apart than that. So.
Well, yeah, you could. I mean, I guess, but that's still quite a bit of a jump,
Right.
I love both of them too. It's my iPod basically every Sunday night. I'll do it as soon as the show's over. I've got a 30 gig iPod, and I delete it on Sunday nights, and I hit autofill. And then it's like my own radio station, and then I also listen to the From Dusk Till Con station at work. So yeah, another shameless plug. You can listen to From Dusk Till Con radio on the air through your smartphones, through your computers at work, anything that you can connect to the internet. Unfortunately, my computer systems at work block it. So I have to use my phone, but still, it rocks out. We're actually going to be, once we get the new schedules and everything set up for the pre-recorded shows, I did add some really great professional radio station software. So we'll actually be starting to rebroadcast the shows that are recorded. So for those that couldn't catch it, at 9 o'clock at night, because I had to be in bed, I'm going to be replaying stuff. I think probably I'm going to start it at like noon, and then just like maybe do a recap of the entire night. Unfortunately, we cannot do the music shows that way, but all the recorded shows we definitely can. Like your shows and anything, basically anything I've got on the server. Basically, because I can just set it and forget it. It's great. I don't have to remote in all the time like I did before. So,
Ron Popeil.
Yeah, exactly. It's set it and forget it. That's what I call it. My set it and forget it radio station. So,
speaking of music, when you go check out the Son of Celluloid show, check out the theme songs done by my boys Ryan and Derek, who are both in the Casket Creatures, one of the preeminent horror punk bands on the scene. So there's an extra added bonus to go check out the show.
I have not heard of them. I'm going to have to look them up. What was their name again?
The Casket Creatures.
All right, I'm going to look them up right now. Actually, I'm just going to put it up and then I'll look at it later. But if I don't if I don't at least put it in my browser, I will end up forgetting it. So, yeah. So apparently, Dave's he just messaged me. His bandwidth died. He said my bandwidth just disappeared. This has never happened. I said, okay, Lewis.
It's okay. It happens to everybody.
Yeah, exactly. They make pills for that.
God damn you, technology.
But that's definitely diversity. So where was I don't even remember where I was going. I lost my train of thought. It happens. Nathan, let me ask you a question. When you were first approached with coming to the network, obviously you were definitely enthralled with it because it's an honor to be invited into our realm. What was the one thing that you felt that you could bring, that was really excited? What did you think that we were lacking that you could bring?
Man, I'm telling you, like I said, the fresh perspective of not talking to, I'm not saying everyone gets the same people or any of that kind of stuff, but lots of actors, lots of filmmakers. I want to go, I want to bring some other people in, other things people don't normally think about. 'Cause there's a lot of people who are not the, top rung people that, even might be brought in as guests into a con or something like that, that are just busting ass to keep horror alive in wherever their neck of the woods is. And that's what I really want to bring to it.
Cool. And that's one thing. I appreciate that. That's, something that we want to do. We don't want it to be just, let's talk about Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger every fucking week. You can only say, you can only talk about them so much. I mean, they're great, but, they're okay. They're the Ford and Chevy of the, horror realm. I want to talk about that obscure Ferrari over there and that piece of shit Yugo. Because that Yugo is actually probably pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
So,
if nothing else, it's got the best tunes blasting out of it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's one of my biggest things with horror podcasts. There's one they call themselves the originators of the horror podcast. They're from Kentucky. I won't mention the name. That's a cute cat.
Yeah, it's one of the ones I just rescued. His name's Scrappy.
Nice.
Yep, he's my little buddy.
More interesting
on the
than this
webcam.
podcast. But these guys have been doing it forever, and they were one of the first. I give them that. But they burn through interviews like it was nobody's business. You have to understand that, in this, the celebrities willing to do interviews are finite. There's not a ton of them. Mm-hmm. So, even that other show that just left, they always seem to need. Is he trying to upstage me right now?
He's a little camera whore.
Much cuter than me. But
I'll let him sit on my shoulder. You're not getting near it.
No, I would hurt it. Even the show that left the network, it always seemed to need a guest every week. Mm. And if you do that, you're going to run out really quick. So from Dusk Till Con Radio, we like to do an interview a month and bring in new segments, bring in different things. Sometimes segments work, sometimes they don't. So it's just keeping that fresh. But, if I had any advice to give a podcaster, man, spread out interviews because they're not easy to come by, and you're just going to burn them out, and then you're going to have nothing to go to. So as like that podcast that I was mentioning, they've sort of dropped off the map because they have no one left to interview, and that's all. They were one gimmick, one trick ponies. That's all they could do was interview. They couldn't come up with
that
any
makes
original.
sense. And it definitely makes sense. Just from to be honest, before the network came along, I was not a big podcast fan. And ow, okay, sharp nails. He likes climbing up my leg. And I started, obviously listening to him more once I became involved in him. And yeah, to be a one-trick pony is definitely not what's going to keep you in the business. At least like with your guys' show, you try different things. You've tried it. You'll try something, and for a couple weeks, if it doesn't work, you move on to something else.
Yeah.
You think of new games and stuff like that, and you still have fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, then you're not. You're definitely not going to get anywhere with it, because that comes across with the the listeners. It's just like the first thing they tell you in sales if you ever answer the phone, smile when you answer the phone, because it projects with your voice.
Right.
And it's true. And if you're having a bad night, even if you've got the best DJ voice in the world, it's gonna come through.
Right.
So, you just gotta enjoy what you do. So.
We've been, East Coast Horror Group's been around 3.5 years, but we've been doing From Dusk Till Dawn radio for, I'd say about 2.5 years, while the site was on hiatus and everything. And everybody wants the big interviews. We've done Bill Moseley, Sid Haig, all those types of guys, but I had a chance, Steve Railsback was offered to me.
Mm.
Now,
Nice.
a bunch of people probably wouldn't know who Steve Railsback is.
That's a travesty.
It is. It is. He was the hardest interview that I've ever done. Drew and I have ever done. Pulling questions or getting questions answered from him was like pulling teeth. But when you finally got through that and he got a little bit more comfortable, his responses were great. I mean, he was just a wealth of knowledge on character acting and things like that. So, not a lot of people, outside of people that really in the know would do an interview with Steve Railsback. And I do like to stick with the stars and everything. And Nathan, I'm stoked to hear that you're going that other level, you know what I mean, to get the smaller guys out there. But, I want to hit the things that people have never heard from. Would it be cool to have John Carpenter on From Dusk Till Dawn radio? Yeah, but how many more times are you going to hear John Carpenter answer the same fucking questions
and that's
over and over again?
Exactly it. When you do listen to these interviews, it's kind of like I feel it's kind of like you just hear the same questions over and over again. Well, what was your inspiration for the shadow coming out of there? And it's like, okay. To be honest, if I ever got a chance to talk to John Carpenter, I would actually not jock his movies. I would jock his musical writing abilities. I love his soundtracks more than I do his movies. I mean, I actually have a playlist that is nothing but John Carpenter. It's like I would put that on when I had my last job that I was at for 2.5 years. When I was in a crappy mood and I didn't want anybody to come to my office, I put that on. I had a decent sound system in my office because my office was set back, and just come in, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Bill's in one of his moods. I'm going to turn back around and leave. But that's one thing that I definitely agree on. You just got to have something different to say versus, it's like a Star Trek convention, You don't want to ask the same questions that the last fucking 40 guys said, but then again, what questions are you going to ask? So
That's one of the things I've always tried to do when I do celebrity interviews, which has primarily been at Days of the Dead, because a lot of the questions you ask, they just have a programmed response for. I've answered this question 100 damn times, so it's just automatic. When you can make them think, that's when you get good responses from it. So.
Well, and not only that, is if it's a lesser-known name, they haven't been asked a lot. So, you got to figure how many interviews does, John Carpenter do? Yeah. John Carpenter do a year versus, a lesser-known independent, screenwriter or film producer. So, Dave has technical difficulties, and I have animal difficulties. I'm being attacked So
And I have a drinking problem.
there's no problem. You drink. That's all that matters. For those that don't know, this is one of the kittens that I rescued. I was getting ready to leave for work one morning. I was outside smoking. I found him and his sister underneath my stairs. They were probably a week old. Underneath my stairs on the cold cement. We brought them in. We've been hand feeding them and getting them all ready to go, and I'm gonna have a hard time getting rid of them now. But yeah, so we've been baby feeding them. They haven't seen their mother in weeks. Fucking whore. So, but yeah, this is one of them. This is Scrappy. My son named him so, and he is Scrappy, as you can tell, and he's very attached to me. So, yes, I'm a cat lover. Go figure. So, but then I get a lot of horror people are cat lovers. Have you noticed that? Anybody? Or is it just me?
Horror fans tend to be animal people, just in general.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a colony of about 300 Madagascar hissing cockroaches at my house. So.
Nice.
I just had babies today, too. They're cute.
Oh, well, I have the two cats, these two cats, my other two cats, and a bearded dragon. His name is Eddie Izzard.
Nice.
Or Eddie Lizard, after Eddie Izzard, who I did just go see last week. If you've never had a chance to go see him, he's fucking hilarious. So, yeah, he was fucking awesome. Awesomely funny. So we got great seats, too. We actually got in during the pre-sale, so we were like row H. So it was like, pow. And that. What? Here, you want to talk? Say hi. Say hi. All right, now you got to go. Okay, you got to go. So, yeah, I don't know what happened to Dave. I think he's rebooting his router last I checked. So, when you were talking music, Nathan, besides if you were to do a radio show that we have discussed somewhat, what would you bring to the table besides what you've already said, the horror punk and Motown?
All right, here's my idea for my show. I used to host bar trivia when I was living in Savannah, and one of the things I would always do as a bonus question, I always made a soundtrack for each night for when people were answering questions and all. And the bonus question was always, what do the songs I've played tonight have in common? They all had a common theme. Sometimes it was all songs that mentioned wind. It could be all bands from England. It could be all bands with a chick in the band. Or they could all have a man's name in the title, something like that. And I'd play everything, from Slayer to Snoop Dogg to Sinatra and all between, but they all went on this central theme. So my idea is to do a show, complete, eclectic variety of styles of music and everything, but they all have one missing link. And if lucky listeners could catch that missing link and be, one of the people that, say, emailed me and I drew their name or something, they give away some kind of prize. Maybe it could be some kind of horror swag. Maybe it could be picking the next theme. You never know. So I think it would be cool to get listeners involved, not just listening, but actually playing a game with it.
That's cool because you got the interaction. My challenge to you is to put a song set together that deals with abortion.
I'm on it.
So that's your first task. Actually, now that I think about it, probably wouldn't be that hard because you get so many.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be that hard.
It would be mostly grindcore, probably.
Well, no, you get the, there's a couple, you'll probably get at least one Tori Amos song in there.
Yeah.
She's definitely got to talk about it, with her. So, yeah, definitely. So, I guess. Oh shit! What the hell?
Hey, someone has joined us.
Yeah, with his echo.
Hold on, I gotta. Yeah. Hold on. Okay, there we go.
Coming to us from inside a cave.
Yeah. You fix it.
Okay, I think I got it. There we go.
There you go. Everybody, I want to welcome.
There we go.
One of our co-conspirators, Adolfo, to the channel, to the show. Everybody say hi, Adolfo. Hi, Adolfo.
Hi, Adolfo.
What have I missed so far?
What's that?
What have I missed so far? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. We've talked about the new...
This pussy on cam.
Yeah, I'm playing with pussy on cam. Look. Yeah, you might want to show Carrie, too, because she loves my pussy. Anyways, we have talked about the new shows that are coming on. Dave talked about his before he got lost. And then Mike talked to us about the 42nd Street type show, the 35mm show. And Nathan talked to us a little bit about some of the ideas he's had. We also discussed the changes that have come about and why they came about. To a degree, we didn't really go into too much detail with that because we don't need to. So,
Right.
but other than that, that's about all you miss, and me getting attacked by a cat.
Cool. Sounds like you guys got all the bases covered.
Yeah. So what are you doing here? We don't need you.
I don't know. Just you know, I had made a promise on Facebook that I'd come on and I'd show off the Heat jersey and you know, clown for LeBron if they won. So I was gonna maybe make good on that promise before we went off air. But sounds like you guys pretty much have had it on lock all night. I'm kind of disappointed to have missed it, although I was glued to the Heat game.
Well, that's the good thing is even those people who have missed it can come back and reference this and on our From Dust Till Con page because this video will be up all week. So those of you on Mixler who cannot watch us, cannot watch me stroke my pussy here on cam, who keeps biting me, can catch it on
Don't they all?
From Dust Till Con Radio on live video. Ow!
Well, and you know, I want to say just for myself that for the first time in a couple of weeks, I haven't been this excited about the direction the From Dust Till Con Network is going. You know, not to give the impression that we ever stopped being excited or it ever stopped being fun, but I feel like this group that we have now, some of the new people that we've brought in, like Nathan, you know, giving David Manifest a little bit more of the shine time, bringing in Jason Hours for a little bit more of a prime time thing, and the new show with Styx, I think it's going to really bring something that we lacked before. I was very happy with the programming before, but now I think it's going to a whole other level. I think it's going towards a very fun direction, which is what we initially wanted to do this for. And, you know, I think each one of those guys is so unique and distinctive that they're not going to really overlap on each other. I mean, Nathan's, you know, one of a kind. Manifest and Hours are definitely covering a subject that's, you know, you don't see a lot of primetime radio shows dedicated to, you know, like stuff like a Serbian film or the Guinea Pig series. So it's pretty neat to bring that in and give it, you know, like that big primetime slot where everybody's going to be exposed to it for better or worse. And then the new 42nd Street show, the 35mm Big Box Rewind, I think that's probably going to be, you know, the sleeper show on the network in the sense that I think it's going to be great. I don't know how well it'll be received at first as far as like our mainstream audiences, but I think it's going to be one of those shows that once people tune in, they're going to be like, holy shit, this is quite possibly one of the best shows on the network, hands down. Just some of the stories that are going to come out of that show, I think, are going to be like, you know, those kind of moments on radio that you can't buy.
I'm really intrigued by that one because I've always said that's an era that I wish I could have lived through and could have experienced. So it's going to be really cool to get a first-hand view of that, you know, era in film.
Oh, no doubt. And I think what's going to be cool is I think what worries me a little bit is that some of the people that weren't alive during that era and aren't as familiar with it might shy away from it at first and feel that it may be not as accessible. But I really think it's going to be a great show for people to learn off of and to almost live vicariously through some of Styx's stories, because you know, I wish I would have been there to see some of that too, and to get a first-hand account from a guy that was, and just, you know, hear it in the context that has a social commentary as much as a sort of a cultural bent too. I think it's going to be real special, and I think it's going to be one of those unique shows that you're not going to be able to liken it to anything else, and it's going to be pure magic.
Well, you know, and I definitely agree on that. You know, obviously, growing up in the Midwest, we did not have anything like Grindhouse or 42nd Street or anything like that. One of my hobbies I will do just when wasting time is actually to go to, there's a web Facebook page. It's called Dirty New York, and it's basically pictures of nothing but New York in the 60s, 70s, and a little bit of the early 80s, and it shows a lot of those theaters and, the people that were there. Just, even just looking at the pictures, it's like, man, that just seems so interesting versus, what we have now. Or even, growing up, here in the Midwest, we had a drive-in, but which actually ended up later on going into doing pornos. There was actually a drive-in porno theater here in up in South Bend, Indiana, of all things. So
lucky bastard.
Well, unfortunately, I was like 16, but we could sneak in. And
so hold on. You're saying that the name of the town that has the drive-in porno theater is South Bend?
Yep, and it is the most northern city in South Bend, or in Indiana.
Is that not an ironic name, or what?
South Bend, I get you. But boom.
Going south in South Bend.
Yeah. And, we did hear the soundtracks, too, with all the speakers that were in, because that was back in the days when you still had speakers. So, we could still hear everything. So, but, it definitely, I would hope that people would get interested just to be able to learn stuff that they never got to be a part of, that and coming from, like you said, coming from somebody firsthand, definitely. Ow.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, Adolfo, that we recorded the first 2 episodes today, and Bill now has those for the next 2 weeks. And these 2 shows, of all the 3.5 years of what I've done, I think these are probably some of my proudest moments. This is a part of film history that not a lot of people talk about, simply because, like, from the 60s and 70s, not a lot of people are still alive. Not just because of age, but because of drug use, violence, things like that. So, and you said the social implications, there's also a little political undertone to it, because he talks about Giuliani and how Giuliani really came in and destroyed 42nd Street. He took on the mob, he took on, the gangs, and within that, destroyed every grindhouse theater in his wake. And from someone that was there, we think of Giuliani as America's mayor. From someone that was in New York, that lived that time and watched him destroy what people love so much, they have a very different opinion of Rudy Giuliani. So
I never knew that. So I'm definitely interested in hearing his stories about that, because I never knew anything about that.
Yep.
I just figured they went out for lack of money, like everything else. So.
No, it was Giuliani came in late 80s. And, the VHS took a bite, but they were still living mostly off the porn business. But Giuliani came in late 80s, early 90s and just destroyed it. He calls him Hair Giuliani, sort of, like the Fuhrer almost. So again, it's something different, completely different to this network. These are stories that need to be heard. If you're a fan of any genre of film, this is something that you need to be exposed to.
Yeah, and I feel like moving forward, starting next week, I feel like, I'm sure you've covered all the changes and whatnot, but I feel like we've not only not missed a beat, but we've gotten stronger. I've been wanting to bring Nathan into something since he first covered Days of the Dead, and it was just a matter of time of waiting around, and it's like, well, we'll have to have something. Like, how we kind of bring East Coast horror into everything, and I knew something would come up at some point, because we're always doing stuff. We're always streaming. We're always coming up with new things, and I was like, man, the opportunity is going to come soon for this guy, and I'm fucking stoked that we got him on board. I feel like, with Dave and Jason Hours, that was a show that was relegated to Sundays just because of just because there was just so much other stuff going on, and now to give them the prime times, like I'm absolutely shit fucking stoked for Wednesdays. Not just because I'm on Wednesdays, but you're gonna have the 42nd Street show followed by Sadistic Cinema. That's gonna be a strong night. I mean, for a night that lost all of its shows in instantly, we've replaced them in a way that I feel it's even stronger moving forward. And that's not to take anything away from what was there before, but I'm excited as fuck to have those guys on. And then Nathan, whether he moves to Mondays or whatever night we have, I think he automatically strengthens whatever night that is. Putting him on a primetime slot on one of those days, you've already got another money night. And Tuesdays have been strong for us. Thursdays have been strong for us. So I feel like every single night of the week has become a pretty much you can't miss it night on this network. And there's something for everybody, whether you're into one kind of horror or another, or one kind of music or another. We've sort of we've diversified, and we've had we've experienced addition by subtraction in a sense.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it right there. We definitely got one thing that was always said by that person was, well, I'm the anchor. I'm the anchor that yeah, we figured it out. You were the anchor. You were the anchor that was pulling the boat down. And hey, look, we're free and running in the fucking waves now, buddy. But yeah.
Well, and I don't want to really get down on anybody. I mean I kind of want to try to avoid that just because I think it's not productive. But that kind of thinking I think is something that isn't conducive to making for a positive network, making for the kind of programming that we set out to do. Nobody here is the anchor. Nobody here is the star. Nobody's here is the prime time. Nobody's here doing the most out of anybody. We all thrive together, and I think you've been able to see it where our shows get the most attention. Our network gets the most attention, and it thrives the most when everybody's helping each other. Everybody's pulling their own weight, and it's not just one guy or girl. It's all of us, and that kind of thinking, I think. I'm glad that moving forward, it's definitely a much more team dynamic. It's definitely a much more symbiotic dynamic, because I feel like all the shows sort of complement each other now. I feel like the different voices that we have going on serve to offer the right mix of variety to where we're not getting stale. It's not the same shit. We're not relying on goofy-ass gimmicks to anchor our programming or to make up our programming, and it's just we got something for everybody, and all of it is quality, and none of it is here to be competitive. It's all about having fun, and I'm glad that moving forward, that's the main focus, is having fun and just enjoying what we do.
Definitely, that's one thing that was from day one. We wanted to have fun doing this, and when it starts becoming work, I'm going to quit doing it. I'll tell you that, and that's the way everybody should be. When this starts becoming a full-time job and I'm not having fun doing it, I'm getting out, because this is what I wanted to do it for, is to have fun, hang out with my friends, because we all live somewhere else, most of us, so it's a way for all of us to hang out together versus hanging out on fucking Facebook that everybody else and their brother does too. So
now speaking of having fun, I'm gonna go ahead and have fun real quick before I take off. I gotta go ahead and we got to finish wrapping up the We're All Doomed show, the edits, so we can go ahead and upload that for tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I've gotten a sneak peek of the track listing, and it's fucking sick. So you guys are not gonna want to miss that. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, we kick the week off with We're All Doomed. If you like it heavy, if you like it loud, tune in, man. You're gonna discover a shit ton of your new favorite bands. But I see Big Larry's in the chat. I know he's a LeBron hater. I see Paulie B from Indianapolis is in there. There's quite a few guys, so I'm gonna have fun. I promised I would do this. We're representing the Heat, and we're doing the big balls dance for LeBron. We're LeBroning right there. That's what we're doing. There we go. I'll see you guys later. All right.
All right, later, man. Yeah, see, that's the kind of shit that goes on around here. So, we're about running about an hour. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. First of all, Nathan, why don't you go ahead and plug yourself there?
Like where everyone's watching?
Yeah, it's right there.
No,
don't call me Mr. Fister for nothing, buddy.
Everybody can go check out www.sonofcelluloid.com. That's my blog. I've been doing it for about 3.5 years. It's been a little slow there lately because I've had other projects going on, but I'm getting more and more into getting back into that. Plus, I've got the YouTube show going on. Just go to YouTube, type in Son of Celluloid, and it'll bring up all. I've got 4 episodes so far. 5th one's going to drop on Tuesday, and
I'm actually posting the link right there in the chat room for you.
Excellent, and keep an ear right here on the From Dust Till Dawn Network for more details about what I'm going to be up to.
Good. I look forward to having you a part of the definitely dysfunctional family we have here. So welcome aboard.
Why, thank you. Good to be here.
And of course, Mr. Exler, why don't you go ahead and plug your stuff?
Yeah, go check us out, eastcoasthorrorgroup.com. That's everything from our panels, interviews, podcasts, Dead on Movie reviews, Horror Realm Radio, now 35mm Big Box Rewind. From DestilCon Network. Check all that out. Make sure you come out to Days of the Dead. Check out our panels. We're going to be doing Welcome to the Underground. We'll also be doing Night of the Demons, Nightbreed, and the Corey Feldman panel. So check all of those out. That'll be fun. And one last thing, fuck Sean Clark.
Fuck Sean Clark. We need pins that say that, little buttons. So.
Oh, I think I might
Actually,
do that.
One other thing you're going to want to keep an eye on.
We didn't have
here
somebody doing buttons. Oh, wait, there's another story. Go ahead.
One other thing you want to keep an eye on from DestilCon is when I do come on Jason Hoover's show, and we show from Where the Dead Go to Die, I'm going to have the lowdown on a special Son of Celluloid collectible that will be available at Days of the Dead Indy, and only at Days of the Dead Indy. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of scared.
Probably should be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll go ahead and give myself my own plug. We all know that I am here every Thursday from 7 to 9 doing your covers blown. I actually got some new stuff again this week. I actually think I'm going to do probably a 30-minute retrospective of different versions of Stairway to Heaven.
Nice.
So, yeah, I've got
Very cool.
at least 10 different ones that I've collected so far just tonight, besides the ones I already had, and I've got some interesting versions of it. I have a version of The Doors doing Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, nice. I'd be interested in hearing that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'll explain it to you guys.
Wow.
I'll explain it to you guys later once we get off the air. But yeah, show up 7 to 9 on Thursdays. Like Adolfo was saying, make sure to show up Monday 7 to 9 for Scary Carrie doing her show. We're All Doomed. Harry Bean, what's his show going to be this week? I have no idea because he never knows until he goes on the air. So he will be doing his show from 7 to 9. Who knows what his theme will be? Of course, we have Adolfo going to be here Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be our new kicking ass night. Apparently, I'm getting a little jealous. I won't lie. They got all the good shows on Wednesday. No, I don't give a shit. Actually, it's better that way. That way, I do less work. Yeah, his show will be here for Punk and Destroy from 7 to 9, and then Thursday's me. Friday, I don't know what we're doing for DJ yet. We may throw Nathan in there as a guest DJ on Friday.
I could handle that.
Wait, aren't you doing a show next Friday with Hoover too?
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be on Hoover's this Friday.
Well, I think we may just have to do that. We could make it the Nathan Hamilton night. We'll
That might be an idea, man.
We'll get you to guest DJ from 7 to 9, and then you'll be on the show from 9 to 10, and then we'll do the movie at 10 o'clock. So.
I like it.
Yep. So, so everybody tune in, drop out, stay in, do whatever. I really don't care. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. We will be back here next week, of course, where our guest will be John Carpenter, and we're going to ask him the same 10 questions that everybody else does. So,
Woohoo.
so see y'all later. Bye-bye.